Welcome back to Must Do Travels. Today we're going to take you on a virtual journey of the top 10 things to do in New York City. But first up, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and go ahead and hit the bell next to it to subscribe for alerts. That way you can get more notifications when we come out with new videos like these. Be sure to check us out at club.mustdotravels.com for our member exclusive offers on places like New York City and anywhere else around the world. New York City is one of those most iconic cities that we've seen in television and film throughout the years. Many of us think of it as a cultural capital of the United States, as well as a financial center. It would be hard to think of traveling to New York City without considering many different destinations, of which this list tries to bring in the 10 most important ones if you were going to spend just a few days in the city. The island of Manhattan itself has literally hundreds of different buildings that you could check out. Some of them have been around for years and other ones are more pop cultural icons. So to kick off our list, we'll start with number 1, which is Central Park. The Central Park was designated an official park in 1857 and currently consists of 843 acres. It makes it one of the largest urban parks within the world, and it's also the most visited urban park in the United States, with more than 40 million people traveling to it each year. Central Park is also one of the most filmed locations in the world, making it a popular setting for many movies and television shows. The park currently sits on the UNESCO consideration list and may potentially become a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the coming years. And while you're there, if you have the spare time, you can check out the Central Park Zoo. Second on the list is the Statue of Liberty. Many people who think of New York think of the Statue of Liberty first and foremost, as it's been an icon for freedom around the world for over 100 years. Back in the days of early immigration, those coming into boats into New York Harbor and heading toward Ellis Island would often wait in anticipation to get a first glimpse at Lady Liberty herself, of which the sight would give them confirmation that they were finally set free from the burdens of the home country they came from. Originally, her copper construction gave her this golden glow, but over the years, the oxidation has turned her to her more familiar green color. She was originally a gift from France and built by Gustave Eiffel, the architect of the famous Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. One of the more popular things to do on Liberty Island is to climb the staircase inside of the Statue of Liberty and go to the top of the head and view out the windows from within her crown and get a glimpse of New York Harbor. Number 3 is the Empire State Building. Perhaps one of the most recognizable freestanding buildings throughout the entire world. It stands currently at 100 stories tall and was built all the way back in 1931. And back then it was the tallest building ever, and it held that record until 1970 when the original World Trade Centers opened. To this day, tourists line up for blocks, and they pay a lot of money to get to the observation deck and get a view of Manhattan. It's well worth it, but be aware of many scalpers who try to sell tickets that may or may not be a scam. At number 4 is the High Line. If you're looking to get some fresh air inside this big city, check out the High Line, which is actually a public park that's been built on top of a historic freight rail line. So it's elevated above the streets of Manhattan's west side, and it contains many urban gardens as well as art installations that make it a relaxing place to catch a breath. Maybe you want to soak up some sun or meet up with friends. The High Line is a place that's known for relaxation, even in a city that virtually never sleeps. At number 5, we've got Times Square. Who could make a list of the top 10 things to do in New York City and not mention Times Square? The Times Square gets its name from the famous New York newspaper, the New York Times, which relocated its headquarters to the corner of Times Square more than 100 years ago. It's one of the world's most visited tourist attractions, and since its opening has had an annual New Year's Eve ball drop that's going on its 111th year of tradition. Times Square is considered a cultural hub and is often referenced as the crossroads of the world. Throughout Times Square, you'll see not only Broadway shows, but many tourist attractions like Madame Tussauds, restaurants to eat at, and even some famous TV studios like MTV and Good Morning America are located right within Times Square. Number 6 is Brooklyn Bridge, one of the most recognizable bridges throughout the entire world, and it's also the oldest bridge in the United States that's still standing. It was completed in its current state in 1883 and is a partial suspension bridge, which was a technological feat during its time. One of the more recent traditions that have taken place on the Brooklyn Bridge are for couples to go and place their locks onto the Brooklyn Bridge, known as love locks. These have become a little bit of a nuisance over the years, and the bridge panels that the people attach their locks to often get weighted down beyond their capacity, and the fences need to be removed by the city and replaced with new fences. That doesn't stop people from professing their love and writing their names onto their locks and attaching them to the bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge is also a great place to get in a good photo op for your Instagram or your Facebook profile update. At number 7, the Rockefeller Center may feel like it's playing second fiddle to Times Square, but this is a great place to stop by when you're in New York City. What makes it so special, other than its massive skyscrapers and its many attractions located within the plaza, is that it was actually built during the Great Depression of the 1930s. While most of the country was experiencing an economic downturn in the 1930s, the Rockefellers invested their fortunes into building up an empire within the New York City. Rockefeller Center is home to the giant Christmas tree as well as ice skating during the winter months, and located within the plaza is Radio City Music Hall, an attraction in and of itself. At number 8, we've got the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Built all the way back in 1874, this museum has since collected some of the most famous works of art from around the world. Some of the exhibitions date all the way back to the classical Roman and Greek eras, as well as ancient Egypt. There's even a hall that contains medieval armor, lots of Renaissance-era portraits and paintings, and there's a dedicated wing, especially for American works of art. At number 9, we have the newest attraction to make this list, and that's the One World Trade Center, which was opened in 2014. It stands at 1,792 feet tall, and it features 104 floors above ground and 5 down below. At the very top is a 3-story observation deck with views of Manhattan and the New Jersey skyline, as well as food courts. The elevator to the top of the observation deck is an attraction in and of itself, giving you a time-lapsed view of the island of Manhattan's construction from the original days of inhabitants all the way to current present day. And right next door you'll find the National September 11 Memorial Museum with its memorial waterfalls and its below-ground museum that takes you right into the foundation of the original World Trade Centers. Inside you'll find dedicated memorials to those who lost their lives and the first responders who came to the aid of those in need. At number 10, we've got Grand Central Terminal, often called Grand Central Station. With almost 22 million people per year passing through the Grand Central Terminal, it becomes one of the busiest transportation hubs around the world. It's like an airport for railways. It was built in 1903 by the Vanderbilt family, which is one of the most wealthiest families in U.S. history. If you like more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe and check out our website at mustdotravels.com and our travel club at club.mustdotravels.com for great deals on your visit to New York City.